It's pretty obvious that One Punch Man Season 3 has been having a hard time in the news. From the infamous Garou slide to worse character designs to overall lacking quality, which after watching Slam Dunk, I couldn't really notice. I know that show is old, but sometimes there's straight blue luck. Anyway, I don't think there's any point to ripping it apart even more. At any time I looked up clips for the video, it was just everyone hopping on the bandwagon to take a huge shit all over the animator, staff, and director. And while there's some blame for the staff, JC Staff's who I did there, I suppose, I believe it was mostly out of their control and up to the One Punch Man committee that truly runs things. I think it's safe to say that the animators are trying their best. I mean, this is One Punch Man, a property that they know people love, and they're not just going to do a bad job on purpose. Apart from their horrid schedules that I've heard and the nightmarish stress that they are under, I think they're doing a better job than people think with what hand they're dealt. But enough of that. On to one of the most insane panels in history. I remember the first time I saw this and I thought there's no way someone actually made that. I pushed it back and called it impossible. Chalked it up to some fancy digital technique that no one could learn without art school. But in this video, after only 6 months of study and a year of messing around, I'll be taking it on, showing how you can too. During the start, I was quite frustrated.
What the hell?
Nothing seemed to be going right, and I was honestly letting the task get to me a bit.
We've got like this like gap.
I mean, put yourself in my shoes. The pressure was on. I had to show my 26 amazing, beautiful, loyal subs that I can do this before One Punch Man Season 3 releases, or no one would care. Every time I looked up at the screen, I didn't know where to start. Just reveling in it. It was overwhelming. I eventually quit being a baby and got to work. In the beginning, I had some reason that I wanted to try and tape 2 big boards together. I wanted to recreate it as close to the original as possible, and I know that's probably what he did. He probably did that because he did stuff like this all the time. In his book, he wrote about cutting the middle line and doing the panel where you tape them 2 together, but I tried to do it. It just did not work. Everything I tried with it. There was this little like elevation in the middle that was, I don't even know what you say. It's because they're both stacked on top of each other. I must have done it wrong or something. Anyway, I was trying to cut this thing and it would not cut. I had the worst box cutter on planet Earth, dude. This thing, I had to cut it like 15 different times. And I thought it was going to be a simple, like, slide it down and it's done. I didn't even need to cut it on anything. So I just cut it right on my desk. And I left a bunch of scrape marks. I left a bunch of cut marks in my desk like a genius. So once I finally got that sawed in half, dude, this paper's not even that thick and I could not get it. I ended up taping it together and we know what happened there. Yeah, I punched my phone out of anger. I was making a mark. I was trying to get it as precise as possible, put it on there. It was not working. It was making me so mad too. Just like I wasn't happy with One Punch Man Season 3. All right, after giving up on that, I decided to go with the single piece of Bristol board type paper. I procrastinated for a little bit because I didn't know what to do. Like getting started with this thing was kind of crazy. Once that was done, I think I even took it. I waited till the next day and then I recorded myself warming up because, you know, obviously that's more important than doing the actual thing. And I was testing out camera setups because I had to tape my camera to my microphone stand, as you can see right here. That kind of sucked because I was just wasting tape and taping my phone, dude. It was ghetto. It's like taping your mic stand to the wall. It was bad. So I tried this out, but you literally can't even see what I'm drawing on it. Is just white. So we just moved on there. I didn't do that. I did a little sketch at first. I wanted to try it. I was using the Chloe Gendron method where you do a sketch, you label the different tones in the piece, and then you go back at it. I did this in my first video. And honestly, I didn't even use it that much because there's so many places that the different tones are put. At least on the bottom, it made it easier. But on the top, it got kind of random. Like I didn't even know where some of this stuff went, and it seemed like they were shaded in afterward, and some tones were shaded on top of others, so it was kind of tough. So I just did a quick little thumbnail sketch right there, and he would have done the thumbnail sketch when he made it. He would have, when conceptualizing this piece, he probably would have done something like that. So that's my guess. Okay, so we're actually getting started. I had the board in front of me and I started lining it up. I saw that he used a rule of thirds. Pretty cool stuff. I like that. Rule of thirds. I ended up messing up the proportions a bit, I believe, so I had some extra space on the top that I thought I didn't. You'll end up seeing that later, but it ended up working out just fine because digitally you can fix that just by cropping it differently. Beginning by sketching in the broad shapes. I didn't want to go into detail at all just yet because I just wanted to make sure that when I do go into detail, all the pieces in the right spot, which this didn't really end up working because I had to redraw so much stuff and just like replace them. I just wish I spent more time on this face because for the infinite amount of time I spent sketching and inking, this part I didn't spend too much time doing because I was excited. I wanted to get into the piece. I was trying to just enjoy the process. You see I got Saitama down there and used a ruler. I put pennies on the bottom of my ruler like Yusuke Murata says in his book, he says put some pennies as a tip under your ruler so the ink doesn't stick to your ruler and then slide when you try and pick it up or whatever or move it. And that was actually a big problem for me, so I went and bought some specific rulers off Amazon with a little gap that you can use so that doesn't happen. Anyway, sketched in the ovals there. As you can see, that's going to be the biggest problem here. I could not get the circles right. I had to redraw these ovals so many times because I just cannot draw a circle, especially when they're supposed to be like perfectly mechanically precise. And I'm pretty sure he used one of these that I'm holding right here. He used this like tray that has ovals all over it that you can use, or you just went digital, but Murata's a very traditional type of guy. Moving on, I got the piece of paper this time. I got that printed so I could look at that because, believe it or not, looking at the screen, it does actually lose some detail, even if it's the exact same image, same resolution. Printing it out just looks better, and I don't know why. Even if you can see that it lost some detail, like it's literally just white on the top. As you can see, I'm putting the circles in. These circles don't need to be as precise. That's okay, because it's not like any individual circle is drawing attention to itself too much. As a group, having them look good, symmetrical circles, looks nice, but it's not as important as those ovals in the middle, which I ended up placing emphasis on and lowering way too much. They were not meant to be that low. Next, so I just did, this is the end of the broad sketch, and I ended up putting some details in here, which this is the part where I actually wished I spent more detail because I knew I was going to be guessing during the inking, but I did not know how much I was going to be guessing during the inking, and you can see that in the end when it doesn't look as professional at all. Okay, so this is the first of 2 times that my phone died. We came back, you can see that I have some of these spikes right here coming down from the ship, way too small. Give up. But I ended up putting in some darker tones here. This is where I go in with the second outline, start adding where the blacks would be by just, you know, pressing harder with the same pencil. I probably should have used different pencils here, but I just didn't. I just rocked it with the mechanical pencil the whole time. We started with the outlines here. I began with the top right corner. I just kind of attacked that, looking at my piece of paper, looking at the image I had up on the screen, and just kind of rocking it out. I wasn't too worried about being perfect here because I know I'm not Murata and I'm not actually creating the piece myself. I'm just recreating it. So I just kind of did my best there, but you can see I'm just going chugging right along. You see I was attacking it with the brush here. This brush ended up losing ink because, or running out of ink, because I inked pretty much the entire piece with it, and it was not meant to be like a heavy duty inker, but whatever. I just attacked that, and you can see this was actually the hardest part for me. That's why I did it first. The rest of the piece is like, all the details are more spread out, and here they're very compact, so I wanted to make it right. I wanted to do this first just so I don't get bored. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I just want to finish this. So I kind of rushed this part. So I really took my time here. This little thing on the bottom sucked, dude. I could not get it to look right. I don't know what it is with me and just shapes that aren't perfect squares, but I just can't draw them. I think it looked okay, but like, God. All right, so you can see I've kind of done the top around this point. The top third of the rule of thirds wasn't completely done yet. So I just left that because that's just one big shaded area, one big tone 3, I believe. So I just went to attack the bottom. The bottom is where there's not a ton of detail, but there's a lot of object placement, a lot of inking to do. So I was just kind of running with that. And then we start going after the circles on the bottom. This was a lot of fun. I like doing this because you can cover a big stretch of area in one go. So that's when I did that. Now it was time to do the circles. No, I had to take a break. Of course, I had to take a break right at the circles.
What's up, guys? Day 3. I thought I was gonna be done today. Hopefully I can finish this up soon. Look into the camera. Editing takes forever. All right, so I'm gonna try and get this done either today or tomorrow, and then I'll have Friday and Saturday to edit a full video. Whatever, get it done.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Gave up on that idea. And this is where we attack the circles, which I end up completely redoing later because I completely destroyed it here. You may notice, you may not, the oval is way lower than it should be. Like this bottom piece that's, I don't know, Independence Day, like destroy the earth with a laser or something. It's way too low. So I had to bring that up. A lot of these ovals too aren't even like ovals. They're like all crooked and janky and whatever. So this is what it looks like inked. Now, that does not look like anything like the original photos of Murata's inks of the ship. You can see this is what we got here. There's a lot of like this part in the middle. It's not even connected. There's a lot of just things that look amateurish about mine, which yeah, I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional. And you can see all these ovals on the bottom. Zooming out, they kind of match, but zooming in, especially on this one on the left, like that's not even, what even is that, dude? What are we doing? In some of the, oh yeah, so you can see a pretty crazy tangent right here. It's the huge just going right into the oval, and the ovals are like more open than they should be. Lame. Didn't do that right. And you can see my rendering. Some went wrong with the rendering. I don't know what was going on. I was pretty confident that this was going to be the part that looked the best. It did not. It looked bad. It was a bit more to do the digital side, which was whatever. I mean, the digital side was I think the digital side maybe was the most fun, just because I already had the hard part down the ship. So now I just went on Google Maps. First thing I did was I just made some finishing touches. I definitely noticed some of the amateurish inking, and I just went back with with the white ink and then did that. And then what I did is I went on Google Maps and on my computer and I rendered Tokyo, because Tokyo is one of the cities that is highly rendered. A lot of these cities you can't even go into 3D. I just wanted to find a city that just looks like it is just straight building, like a ant pile of buildings. To get the original city, they probably actually rendered their own city to do that. Like they designed their own city in 3D, you know, made it look destroyed with the black lines or whatever. Some of the buildings in the original are actually destroyed or burning or whatever. So that proves that they actually did draw some, but they probably mostly just 3D rendered the entire city. So what I did to save myself some time, I just grabbed a bunch of these images, and I stitched them together, blended them a little bit. So there's some white. I remember there being whites in the city in the original. So I just kind of made sure the bottom looked good like that. And then I added the shadow of the ship. I made it grayscale, and then I started adding all of the squiggly lines, the broken city buildings. And then I finally moved whatever the hell happened here. What is that? Why is there such a thick white line? What? How did I miss that? That's literally insane. I'm just noticing that now, bro. How did I miss that? So anyway, I brought that up and I straightened some of the lines, and then I saw that the thing in the middle was actually crooked. Then I saw these lines didn't make any sense, so I just went ahead with the oval tool basically and just made a perfect oval. And then I still didn't even figure out how these ovals were supposed to connect together. My mind was in shambles. At this point, I was so tired. So then I started adding the gray tones on the bottom. The city looks pretty good now. I mean, you can still see the squiggles obviously, but we'll fix that later. Then I was doing some of the tones on the top. You know, they were very blended. And I started fixing some of the tones because I realized that they looked so amateur. Then I added the lights. This was a fun part, just adding a bunch of white dots over everything, making it look cool. This is the point where it goes from, and that's, I mean, I guess you'd put a lot of work into that too, where this actually looks nice. And this actually surprisingly took the least amount of time, and it really elevates the piece. It makes it look like something. So after I put the white lines in, I didn't really notice that they weren't supposed to be white lines. They're actually supposed to be the airbrush. So I just went ahead and over all the white dots I already put, did the airbrush. Then this building on the bottom, I did not know what to do. I did not know how I was going to make it look perfect because I was sure that it was 3D rendered. So what I did was I just went in with a thin line and put a perspective ruler on both sides to make the lines look perfect, which they did, and it was very nice. For the reflection, I just went in with some paint, drew some white lines down. Then I added a little gradient towards the bottom. I know in the original the gradient's more intense. I missed that, it's whatever. Then I added some smoke. For the smoke, I don't even know what I did. I think I just used paint, like just a paintbrush tool, the original paintbrush tool in Clip Studio Paint. Worked out just fine in my opinion. Then I added a bunch of little whites for the actual fire, not just the smoke, but the fire burning that we can see blowing to the right. I didn't even realize that there was a direction pulling everything to the right in the original, but now I do, and it looks good. After adding all of that, I honestly could have left it there because the middle's a lot lighter in the original, and the way mine ended up is I ended up adding too much. So, but we'll just see how this turns out. You can see I added a bunch of smoke. I darkened the bottom of the ship a lot more, and I added a lot of this like sparkle, dust, particle effects just everywhere, and not to mention the sky on the top. And then onto the final recording, the dreaded sun. Dude, this sun was such a Dude, it was such a bitch. I could not find anything to use for the sun. For this last part, I thought it was going to be so quick that I didn't even record it because I was just like, oh, I'm just going to grab a PNG of a sun and bada bing, push, done deal. But nothing was there. I could not find anything. Not one that you could buy, not one that you could get for free. I thought I had seen one for free on Clip Studio or on Medibang, my other program. So I put that on there. After searching through Clip Studio Paint's entire library, there was nothing. So then I went on Medibang and there was a sun that I had, but it wasn't even close to right. It was like a realistic sun that was black all around. It was not good. So I went away from that. And then I went on Google. I was just like, oh, okay, so we gotta find something here. So I just went on Google, went to the free transparent images, downloaded a bunch, all said transparent, but then they all either had watermarks on them or they weren't even transparent, or both. They weren't transparent or both, guys. So I would throw it on there and then the entire image would have like this gray background with with like a grid on it. I couldn't even do anything. So I just kind of gave up on that idea completely. I was like, all right, so I just need to make my own sun. I need to make my own freaking sun. So I just did this after like 5 hours of searching. I was like, bro, this sucks. I'm just gonna throw one on there really quick and be done. I need to get done with this. I did a little airbrush just in the middle and then drew lines to the outside with the perspective ruler. And that was it, dude. I'm not doing anything more than that. I was so done. And I knew at the end of this, I was gonna be tired, but I was like, bro, this reminded me of some of the old YouTube videos that I made where I was just ready to be done, dude. Just grinding this shit out. I'm just like, dude, I don't want to search for clips anymore. I don't want to search for a ding sound effect anymore. I'm so done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.